All right, let's get into audience questions for the week. Of course, questions submitted by you. If you have questions that you would like answered on this segment, just go to our website, davidpakman.com, send an email using the contact form. First one, hey, David, at this point, what could really be so bad about what's in Donald Trump's tax returns that he still is fighting so hard to prevent their release? Yeah, this is true. I mean, the guy's being impeached. And there are still all sorts of proceedings meant to hide Donald Trump's tax returns. I won't give you the full list of the different mechanisms that have been attempted in order to try to obtain those tax returns. So let's go through the list from the beginning that we speculated was the justification for why Donald Trump didn't want his tax returns released. We'll talk about how likely each of them is, but then also more importantly, whether it would still matter. I think that the reason now Trump wants to hide the tax returns is different than what it was 4 years ago. First, we speculated maybe Donald Trump doesn't really make nearly as much money as he claims to, and or although tax returns wouldn't necessarily show net worth, they would suggest that the net worth Trump claims is likely overblown. This could be a blow to Trump's ego. Trump is obsessed with status and how he's perceived and wants to be seen as rich and all of this stuff. That's one possibility. The other possibility we speculated about was that there would be liabilities or entanglements exposed by his tax returns that would be politically difficult for Trump. One was he's in huge debt to Russia. He took money from Russia. He's way more tied in with Russia than he has admitted. That may be, at this point, if that went public, I don't know that it would really be very damaging to Trump. It might be embarrassing to some degree, but the Republican Party at this point has completely bought hook, line, and sinker the story that there's nothing wrong with anything Trump did with Russia. Anytime Russia comes up, it's a witch hunt, it was a hoax, whatever. I actually don't think it would even be that damaging if that was revealed, but that's another possibility for what's in Donald Trump's taxes. The other possibility is that there will be discrepancies made public between Donald Trump's private claims or claims for lending purposes about the value of different assets and the ones that he claims for tax purposes. So you might, if you're using a certain asset as collateral for a loan, when you apply for the loan, you claim a much higher value to make you look like a better lending risk to the bank. But for tax purposes, you want to minimize the value of that asset in order to pay less in taxes. That, depending on how the accounting is done and how much of that stuff is on his personal taxes anyway, you may or may not be able to glean that from personal taxes. In any case, it would be indicative of a crime, I believe, because in New York City, you're not allowed to sort of have double books, as it were, where you value assets differently for different purposes, according to one accountant I spoke to. But it sort of exceeds our scope. And again, politically, I think his followers would just say that that's smart, that's all that is. There's speculation that maybe some kind of other crime would be exposed by Donald Trump's taxes. I don't buy that at all. If Donald Trump committed crimes that are financial crimes, he has his professional accountants prepare taxes. I can't imagine that a professional accountant would plainly expose that some kind of crime has been committed. There might be something that alludes to one that would require more research and other documents. I think at this point, the real reason Donald Trump is still fighting this hard to hide his taxes are either, number one, just because of the income net worth thing, to the extent you could glean it because of his ego, or it's just Trump doesn't want to take the loss. Image is what matters to Donald Trump. If Trump wants his taxes to be private, Trump wants to win the fight about keeping his taxes private. And there's really nothing for him to gain by releasing them at this point. It is only downside risk. Even if we agree the risk isn't that great, that his followers would essentially justify, rationalize anything that's in the taxes, it's unlikely that there is an obvious crime in the taxes. And even if there is, Trump has been completely Teflon when it comes to everything that he's done that does or potentially breaks the law. I think now it's just downside risk. There's no advantage to releasing the taxes. Trump wants the win, and that's mostly what it is right now. If you have a different view, let me know.